Well, hello, Amy. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Hi, thanks for joining me. How are you?
I'm so good. I was so happy to get on here and do something different today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Amy, tell us what your normal day looks like. Because I know you do a lot. You're a realtor, you have two boys who are very active in sports. You're very big in fitness. I know you take great care of yourself and get a lot of that in. And then you're an excellent home chef and you're doing remodeling. So, what does your everyday look like? What time of day do you wake up, first of all? Walk us through.
So on a great day, I wake up at 4:30. I I know, but I go to bed at 8:30.
Okay.
So I typically handle the morning routine. My husband, thank the Lord, handles the nighttime routine. I'm definitely more of a morning person. So I get up early. I try to get my day started, do my emails, anything that I've got going on that I need to schedule for the day or reschedule. A lot of people like to message me in the middle of the night or like really early. So I reset my schedule for the day and then just get going, make the boys breakfast and start waking them up about 6. That's why I get up early.
Okay.
Lately with daylight savings and spring, I've kind of been sleeping in a little bit later, but they're definitely up by 6 and we're going, whether it's taking them to their first practice of the day or getting them off to school. I like to make a hearty breakfast every day. I fail sometimes. So there's been a few times the boys just have cereal, but they think it's an epic mom fail, I think, too, just because they're used to it. But get their breakfast ready, get them going. My husband takes them to the bus or to school. And then I just get started with my day of work and wrap that up in the afternoon. Go start picking them up for practices. And I try to make it to all of their games. Both boys have games that, kind of intermix sometimes. So I can't make it to all of them, but we do that. And then I do a lot of remodeling. I actually do a lot of listing appointments and showings during the day, but also in the evening. So my days are kind of just all over the place.
Hmm.
This morning I had an early day closing and then I had to go drop my kids' golf clubs off and then get back here for this. So it's kind of an everyday, but that's pretty much what my day looks like.
Always go, go, go.
Yep.
I was surprised you wake up at 4:30, but that's when you get a lot of your like emailing and your work done. You're not waking up at 4:30 and working out.
No. So my morning routine is definitely, and I'm trying to be better about, I kind of took a little bit time off from intermittent fasting, but
Mhm.
that's what I love to do. So I wake up and I'll have a black coffee, just get some water, get kind of mindset, and I do a lot of affirmations. I try to meditate, do things like that, but typically I fit my workouts into the later part of my day. And I
Mhm.
really kind of like to end my day with that. So, also I like to take a lot of baths. So I do a lot of my, uh, you know, Instagram or social media kind of content creation in my remodeled luxurious bathtub that I'm obsessed with. So I'll do that then. And then I'll typically do my workout, just kind of fit it in throughout the day when I have a free moment. But the mornings, I really am the most creative. So anytime I need to write listing descriptions or get emails out or even write for ABQ Mom, that's when I get most of my brain power is focused early in the morning. My energy is ready
Mhm.
to go then.
Morning person. All right. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. You mentioned you'd like to make hearty breakfast, and I think that's really important. I have teenagers, and I feel like when they were quite a bit younger, I could kind of get away with like, oh, I just put out this or, an Eggo waffle or
Yeah.
cereal. But with my kids now, I feel like because they've become accustomed to me making eggs, sausage, bacon, big hearty breakfast, the one time I don't, they're like, I can't, what, mom, there's no protein here. I can't eat this. They're like in uproar.
Oh my God. It's so good though, but it just really makes you feel good that you've set healthy habits for your
Mhm.
kids. And I think for you too, like we have children that are active and they're in sports, and we really like to focus on their nutrition and
Mhm.
something that, that's a very big part of our lives. Obviously, we have, we'll have cakes and stuff like that. We don't really keep it in the house, but I will make stuff like that. And we really do like to focus like protein heavy in the morning, especially for them. I don't eat in the morning. That's something I struggle with my teenager because he'll say, Mom, I'm going to fast today. And I'm like, well, you're just turning 14. You run at least 5 miles a day. You practice at least 6 hours a day. You need to maintain your energy fuel
Mhm.
during the day, and also just to fuel his brain. He's, they're in school, they're active with their brains. So it's different for him, but that's one of the things I try to balance, communicating the way that I might do things that's different for my kids. But I
Mhm.
definitely like to make sure we have a lot of protein, vegetables, fruits in all of their meals. And they know that too. Like if we're having a big meal, eat the protein first, eat the vegetables first, get that fiber and get to feeling full a little bit before you have a little bit of the treats added in there.
Totally. What are some of your favorite kind of go-to busy morning breakfasts that you throw together for your boys?
So lately, my oldest, he's switched to gluten free for the last few years. So I buy the gluten free, can't remember, Canyon Bakehouse, I think, has a really good gluten free Hawaiian bread. So
Mhm.
he likes I make him a 3 egg sandwich. I like to sneak cottage cheese in there, but what I realize I have to blend it so they don't
Mhm.
notice. But I
Yeah.
do like to squeeze in the cottage cheese just for extra protein, and it does make it really fluffy. So I'll make those egg sandwiches in the morning, and they're out the door. Usually, I get him up with enough time to get ready, but he is a teenager. He has to have his baseball bag, his golf bag, his catcher's equipment, all his change of clothes, his school
Mhm.
bag, and still mom is very strict, so I require a 92 is failing. So I make sure he's very much got a lot of stuff to do in the morning. So running out the door with his sandwich is usually the way to go. Or I'll do eggs and sausage, eggs and bacon. I always try to throw protein in there though, and
Yeah.
sometimes we'll do pancakes. I think Cravings by Chrissy Teigen. She has a really good gluten free mochi pancake, so that's a treat we do probably once a week.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've always tried to incorporate is I have boys and girls, but strong food is what we talk about. Like, let's eat our
Yes.
strong food first. It's not bad food. It's not good food. It's just like what's going to power you and give you strength. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I want to use that.
Yeah, this
That's
is
great.
that strong food, that kind of thing. And I mean, all food's essentially going to power you, but like really focusing on what's going to keep your brain going and keep your body going, throughout the day. And I think they can see a
Absolutely.
difference too. If they have a
Oh,
bowl of Lucky Charms, they're going to bonk.
yes. And that crash is the big thing. And that's something that I try to, incorporate and try to have them even teach their friends and the athletes that they, work out with and that they play baseball with. It's something that I feel like if they're seeing somebody that they look up to maybe, or that is their peer, that is really taking a focus and on their own health, it's so
Mhm.
great. And you're right, it makes them feel better, and food really is fuel. And if they're not feeling like, oh, I got a tummy ache, or I'm gonna get on the bus and I'm gonna be uncomfortable because I don't have to go to the bathroom, like it's just a different feeling when you feel good and want
Yeah,
to eat better.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So obviously your kids are in a lot of sports. Were you in a lot of sports and things growing up
No.
or okay?
I'm not an athlete. I mean, my parents definitely they had 4 kids, and I'm even though I have family members, like my sister has 8 kids, and somehow all their kids are in activities, but I feel like we're like man on man defense, and I am not an athlete. I work out. That's my athletics, but I played a little bit of volleyball, a little bit of softball, but I was never good. So I feel like, I contribute to their athletics in the fueling their food and taking them places. My husband is really the one. Oh, and cheering for them. I'm ridiculous. I have to start like sitting in my car or like away from the main event because I actually have a problem. Uh, I can't do it anymore. I have to like step back. But yeah, I was not an athlete. I can't
But
run.
just means you're heavily invested in them and their
Yes,
their athletics.
totally. And I love sports. I love baseball has always been my favorite. So that was something that thankfully my husband agreed to put our boys in baseball, and they have an absolute desire and drive and love for it. And that makes me so happy because that's my favorite sport to watch.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, how did you get into real estate?
Yeah. So it's funny because I was always in sales and marketing. I had a really bad car accident when I was pregnant with my oldest,
Hmm.
and I broke every bone in my torso, had a collapsed lung. It was a whole big deal. But I was
Oh
pregnant with
gosh.
him, and at that point, I lost my job. I was head of marketing for a company that I was working for, and we kind of reset what we were doing, and I decided obviously I couldn't go back to work for a long time, but then when I could, we just decided that I would stay home. And my husband's very, I call him like Dave Ramsey, even though he really doesn't know who Dave Ramsey is. He's so focused on just financial security and making sure that we're okay. And so when it was time for me to step back because of that, we were able to do it. And then what drove me back into the workforce was I really just wanted to adult again. But
Mhm.
the whole time I was, staying at home with my son, I really just spent a lot of time driving neighborhoods and learning about neighborhoods and learning about houses, going to open houses. That was pretty much what I did for those 3 years. And I
Hmm.
decided we had wanted to start investing, and we had some investment properties. So I got into that for that reason. But I have a really big network. I'm from New Mexico. I was born and raised here in northern New Mexico. My partner and I are both from Pecos. We
Hmm.
have been in this business together for about, I think it's 12 years now, or 11 years. So yeah, it was just something that felt organic because I always been in sales. My whole life kind of revolves around networking just because I'm an outgoing person to a
Mhm.
fault sometimes. And so I feel like it was just something organic that fit everything. And it really has blown me away how successful my business has been just organically because I don't I don't really rely on outside sources as far as like leads generation, things like that. I just rely on my network, my sphere of influence, the people I know,
Mhm.
family, friends, and referrals. So it's been really pretty amazing to see it just grow.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. You definitely, like you said, and I wouldn't say to a fault, but are incredibly outgoing. Anytime I've interacted with you, you're just so friendly and kind of rallying everyone. So it's such a great fit. What
Yeah.
would you say to maybe a mom out there that's toying with the idea? What would
Yeah.
be the advice you'd give if you were to talk to yourself, back when you were thinking about getting into real estate?
Totally. So I think that for a lot of moms, it's scary because, it does feel like this huge leap, and it really is for a lot of women. And I really resonate with women that are on their like a little bit of a, you know, growth path, but they don't know quite where they want to grow to. I feel like if they find someone, be around people that are going to give you that energy. So I always was lucky to place myself around people who were going to come from a place of contribution. They were going to feel like a mentor to me and want to see me succeed. I think in real estate, we may get a bad rap where it's like, oh, everyone's out for themselves. Or maybe, people in this industry are like, oh, that's like my business. But it's one of those things where there's enough food, we can all eat. Everybody is here to see you succeed. And
Hmm.
just because you are succeeding, that's not taking away from me in any way. So I think that for women getting into the industry, that can feel a little bit daunting. Like I'm jumping into something that I don't know anybody, or I'm going to feel like that new person that people aren't going to like, or, people are going to try to get me to like not come into this like field. But
Yeah.
it's not like, I've never watched Selling Sunset, but I don't think it's like that very like, oh, we're so competitive. No,
Yeah.
we're just working together. And if you want to get into this industry, reach out to someone like me. Don't be afraid to call the top broker in New Mexico because guess what? They want you on their team anyway.
Hmm.
So they want brokers because a lot of us really are, trying to find that work life balance. We're in an industry where it can pull you in so many directions. It can pull you into being so busy and wanting to chase that next level. But it can also be something where if you do it right, and if you want to get to that next level, you can still maintain your work life balance, be able to focus on your family and grow, personally the way that you want
Mhm.
to.
Mhm. Well, what I'm kind of hearing you say is that like just kind of stay away from people with scarcity mindsets, in that
Yes.
area because there's plenty to go around. Everyone in New Mexico needs a house in one way or another, and people are
Yeah.
moving here. We're seeing a lot of influx of people moving here and things. And
Right.
so, um, finding yourself a mentor, someone to kind of learn from and be around those people who are going to welcome you and be excited, to have you
Yeah.
on the team in that way. So who is that
Totally.
for you? I know you mentioned your partner from
Yeah.
Pecos, but who is that for you?
So when I first began real estate, I started with a small company, and my mentor in the business, her name is Jen Cody. She's been in the business for so long, and it was such a beautiful relationship because I'm a person who is a doer, and I want to just jump right in head first, and that's trial by fire. So I feel like I really learned that way, and I'm a very like fast absorber of information, but she was always there to show me like, here's where we need to make sure that even though you're out here doing the most, let's make sure that the compliance is all right, because in our industry it's so very dangerous. I mean, we're dealing with people's biggest asset,
Hmm.
and the most money they're ever going to see, maybe. And it's so important to make sure they're protected. So I feel like more than anything, I came in with a growth mindset, and I came in with very high morals and ethics. And in our industry, that's huge. I mean, ethics, our code of ethics is the only thing, so we are striving to always be the best. But I feel like she was that for me. And when I started my team and I brought on my partner Roxanne and the girls that we've brought on, that was my role for them, is to
Hmm.
kind of be that mentor to them. And now they're doing that same role. And I really do, our mission statement and our goal is always around women. But I also have really good friends in the industry. My brother's best friend, Adam, I'm so proud of him. I'm stinking proud of him. He's a freaking beast. He is out there killing it. And I'm like, this is everything, because at the end of the day, um, that just makes me so happy, because his growth and the growth of the people I see coming in, my partner Roxanne, seeing her growth, she sold a $3.5 million house, the largest sale of last year, and it was just, it's so beautiful. It's like the best gift you can give to yourself is to mentor people that you
Hmm.
see succeed.
Well, and just to have a team of people around you that are cheering you on for those wins instead of like that jealousy or oh, I wish
Yeah.
it was me, why them, or that kind of thing.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Totally. Yes, I
So
love
good.
it.
So your husband and you have some properties and
Yes.
have done, obviously, so there's always some flipping and renovating and things going on. And you also mentioned your bathroom. Let's talk about
Yes.
that because I
Yeah.
love some home renovation.
I love it too. So it's funny because my husband's a very fiscally conservative person, but very much into investing and a very smart investor. We had only ever dove into investing in rental properties. So him and I acquired rental properties, but there was a day that came along, and I had always been, when I was young, before we got together, I was not as responsible.
Sure.
So yeah, I just decided, every time I would start to save money, I was like, oh, I will get a new car. Then I thought, no, we're going to get the next house. So that's how my mindset started to shift. And I found an opportunity where there was a house we could purchase for an amount that I had, and I had enough to, in my opinion, fully renovate it. And I'm very well versed in the market, so I knew exactly what I could do it for and what we could sell it for. It ended up actually even being a bigger windfall than we expected, but those kind of tools that I had were ready to go, and he wasn't quite ready. So he's wonderful because he always pushes me to grow, and he is of the mindset that I need to be independent. Like, he doesn't ever hold me back from being exactly who I need to be. I'm very, again, a very outgoing person. I talk to everyone, but also he doesn't hold me back in ways that he knows, I have these desires to do things. So he said, yeah, go ahead. You do it. Let's go. And that first flip, he kind of didn't come in for about a month until he started seeing, he would give me advice like, oh, you finished your budget. You got it under that. Well, you can do better. And so I would go back and I would find a countertop for $300. How can you find granite countertop for $300? I don't know. I just started driving around. So he started to see that. push that I had in the drive. And he has a construction background. So then he put his hard hat on and a headlamp. And before work every day, he would go at like 4 a.m. and start doing work on the property. And so he
Wow.
put his sweat equity into it, and he helped me to earn even more. We ended up, that was our first flip. And then we just did it from there. And we're a little bit different than a lot of flip investors. We like to hold on to the property at least for a year. That helps us in capital gains tax. Don't ask me about that. I'm not an accountant, but I'm not giving advice. But
It
that,
just works for you. Yeah.
yeah, it works for us. And the other thing is we like to only have one property that we're flipping at a time uh, in a year.
Hmm.
Because if anything were to shift in the market, we never want to be in a position where we have to offload anything. And we're just very much we take a lot of pride in it. I know these investors do, and I respect and love so many of the people that are in my industry that do it on a big scale. But we're more small scale, and we did take a little bit of a step back in the last year and a half to work on our house that we've already renovated once. So we're second time around on this one.
You run out of things and you want to get going. So, is your bathroom your favorite room in your house that you've done?
It is. And honestly, it's funny because when we first renovated our house 12 years ago, my husband kind of, we didn't have that, we had that push pull relationship. We're so both alpha
Mhm.
that, but I let him guide the design. And it took him seeing my visions and what I put in how I design things to just let me run with everything. So
Mhm.
now he doesn't say anything. He lets me design everything. And now when my kitchen's done, that's going to be my new favorite because I live in the kitchen. But right
Mhm.
now, it is definitely my bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did the same thing, and my husband's kind of the same way. He doesn't have full confidence, but after it's done, he's like, "You're right. This looks great. This is amazing." And my
Yeah.
bathroom is definitely my favorite room too, just like a little sanctuary, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And I love your design too. I see what you do, but you do a lot of it yourself. And see,
Some,
that's,
some.
but even I feel funny because I really do. I have all these visions, and he'll be like, "What the heck?" And obviously, it'll all come together in the end. And he knows how much work goes into it because he's doing a lot of the work. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, but it can be done. You know, we can do this. So I don't really get my hands dirty.
That's
That's
okay. You've got the image, and also he's in the construction industry, so it certainly makes sense. You know,
yes,
mine has been kind of trial by fire. I'd be like, well, I want this done. I have this much budget. You know,
yeah.
if we hired someone, it would be too much. But I'm like, I can YouTube that. Let's figure it out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Or I roll into Lowe's, and those guys. If you start asking those older men, man, they are a wealth of knowledge. There's so
They
much.
are.
Yeah, and so it's helped me a lot.
That is so awesome. But I love that you just will get out the power drill and do it. I'm like, no. I mean, I used to change my own oil, change my own tire. Now I didn't even want to move a printer from the office into the living room. So I'm kind of like, oh, I need to get back to my roots.
Well, there's a level of necessity, and there's this like, I don't need to, and I have something else I'm working on. If you're closing a deal for a house, then
Yeah,
maybe you don't need to be hanging photos, and you can have somebody else do it, or whatever.
right. That is so true. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, we are having so much fun chatting. We're close on time, but
Yeah.
you are an excellent home chef. And you're Italian, is that correct?
My husband's Italian. I'm actually Hispanic and
Oh,
white.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your husband's
My
Italian.
husband's
Okay.
white. Yeah, my husband's Italian. So I took on that role. I'm like the Italian housewife, although
So
I'm
you
not
make
Italian.
you make lots of amazing Mexican food, lots of Spanish food, lots of Italian food. What's
Yes.
your favorite kind of food to make for your
Oh
family?
man, it's funny because I really love to dive into like gourmet cooking. So
Hmm.
I love to just make anything that an actual chef would make. So and to bake. Baking is also my favorite, and I love to make cakes and do a lot of really big design kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really love to make everything, and I think my people will always say like, "How do you find time? How do you find time to make 4 meals a day or whatever it is?" Yeah, there are days like yesterday I warmed up Sam's Club chicken cordon bleu and some pizza.
Must have been
I
all.
sometimes don't have the time, and I will get things. It's not, all the time, but it really does make me feel good to be in the kitchen. It's my favorite place to be. I just love to, it's like a therapy for me. I love to
Mhm.
cook. So that's definitely where I would prefer to spend my time.
Yeah, well, that's also your love language. That's how you like to love on your family and care for them. And it's not it doesn't always have to be all the time. And probably the days where it feels like a really heavy chore, that's when you
Yeah,
take the shortcuts, you know?
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you feel a little overwhelmed and then you know, pop something in the air fryer.
Hmm.
So I love it. For
Absolutely.
sure.
Well, before we ask our final questions,
Yeah.
I'm talking about myself in the third person. Before I ask you a final question, where can people find you for cooking inspiration, for home decor, for info about real estate? What's your Instagram?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Aimee_elite_real estate. And my company is Elite Partners Real Estate. And you can call me, text me, find me on there, shoot me a DM if you want to, buy a house or ask me some advice on cooking. I do want to start doing some cooking classes. So I'm going to kind of do that as a giving back kind of thing. I hope to pretty soon. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Aimee Pilegrene. My last name is a funny way to spell, but I'm sure it'll be somewhere
It'll be tagged in the
on
show
here.
notes for
Yeah.
sure. I'll have your social in there too. And
Yes.
you can message her early also because she wakes up at 4:30 a.m.
Yes.
So
Message me. Message me. I won't message you first. I'll
value.
I'll wait. I'll wait till you message me in the morning.
That's
For
awesome.
sure.
Well, we like to ask all our guests a few questions. First of all, what are you watching, listening to, or reading? This is how I
Sure.
get all my recommendations.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I just finished watching Home Improvement with my son, my youngest. So it was hilarious because growing up, I that was my favorite show. And
Hmm.
now I'm like, I am the age of the parents, and I have, a Randy and a freaking like your kids are that age. It
Yeah.
just blows my freaking mind. But my son's obsessed with it. So we watch that together. Podcasts, I like a lot of Candace Owens. So her and I are like, we just like going for the real deets, going for the dig. Like we gotta find out what's going on in the world. So I
Yeah.
love Candace Owens. She's my people. And then books, I'm back on Gone with the Wind. I have a problem. I like reread comfort books and I listen to them and then I watch them. So Harry Potter, Gone with the Wind, I kind of am ADHD, so I just need like background noise. Oh, and
Hmm.
always Real Housewives. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's a
Okay.
problem.
Which one's your favorite? Which
Oh,
season?
it's a real big toss up between Beverly Hills and Jersey, but really New Jersey is my jam. Like Melissa Gorga and Joe Gorga, if they could just kind of like take me in as a BFF, I would just like, I would be the happiest person. I know Joe's tiny and my husband's tall and Melissa's tiny and I'm big. So, like, we would just balance each other so well.
Okay. All right. I'm not in. Maybe you could also look at starring in the Real Housewives of Albuquerque. Even
Yes,
there you go.
yes. I
There
think
you
we should do it.
go.
Well, I was thinking we need to do taglines, Momcast taglines. Like, I'm not, this, but I'm this. Like, we could do it. We
Okay.
could
All right.
totally tagline us some ABQ Mom, Real Housewives.
I love it. I'll pick your brain. All right. So, what is some recommendations, family friendly Albuquerque spots that you love to hit up with your family?
Yeah, so I absolutely love to go to Sawmill. It's just so easy. You can kind of feed everyone whatever they want. They have really good lighting for photos,
Mm-hmm.
just in
Pro tip.
case. Yes, pro tip. So I love that. We do a lot of, well, we're just at the baseball field all the time. So I recommend USSSA baseball for your kids if you want to spend like 74 hours a week at baseball.
Baseball all the
Oh,
time.
and HD. That's our kiddos. They go to High Desert Baseball and America's Pastime to hit balls around.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where you'll find me.
At the baseball diamond.
Yes.
If you build it, Amy will come.
Yes, that's right. That is right. I will be there.
Awesome. And then last but certainly not least, my favorite, an embarrassing parenting moment.
Oh my goodness. Actually, I can't even think of any. I'm so embarrassing. I will just say that there is not one moment that my 14-year-old is not embarrassed by me.
You're the embarrassing parenting moment.
I feel like I am just one embarrassing mom. And I think the most embarrassing thing that I can do as a mother is show up to practice. Just like, just being there. It's just
Being
like,
present.
mom. But I'm obsessed with them. So I have a problem. I like want to squeeze them. Like, you are so talented. But I won't say it. I'm just gonna keep it in my and I'll just watch you from afar. So that's it. I'm just embarrassing 100% of the time.
Yeah, your kids we're going to have bigger problems eventually someday than their mom being obsessed with them. I think
That's
it's,
right.
oh,
That's so true.
Aimee, this was so much fun. Thank you again. And I'll have all of your sites and your socials linked in the show notes. I really appreciate you just kind of chatting. This was just such a fun, great conversation.